Incoming
Hey
transmission.
everybody, it's another Boosting the Signal, and this week my guest is Leigh Ellen. Now, Leigh Ellen is a parody singer. She is a Trekkie. She is a drag lover. She is a karaoke queen. Bow down to her today on this episode. Welcome, Leigh Ellen.
Woo! Thank you. Hi, Ed. It's really nice to meet you.
Ah, it's nice to meet you as well. I'm glad to have you here. This has been kind of a long time waiting. I've had this, sitting on the calendar, and I kept saying, all right, the 14th, the 14th, the 14th. By the way, we're recording this July 14th for anybody. This will actually be going up the first week of August. So,
Beautiful.
yeah, I've already got that all planned out and ready to go. Yes, I have plans. Um, how are you? And I'd like to, curiously, I'm kind of asking you, how did you discover the channel?
I actually found your channel because I have quite a few friends through another podcast, another Star Trek podcast, that we're all in a group chat. And there was one day that you had posted online, like, "Hey, I'm looking for people to be on my podcast." And I saw through Jody Pickens and Anna Rose and Matt Jennings
Mhm.
that they had all been on it before. And I was like, huh, that's interesting. Let me check this guy out. So I listened to mostly just right now, I've mostly listened to just my friends' episodes. I
Oh
also
yeah,
listened to, I think your guest that week was Zyla Trex,
yeah.
who I've recently met and also have been kind of obsessed with for a minute. So I listened to that one too. But I was like, yeah, this sounds great. It also kind of, I know that it was pushed back a little, but this is actually really good timing for my podcast that will be coming out at the end of September. I can either talk about it now or I can get into that later, but I have an Enterprise rewatch podcast coming out
Ooh,
called Go Flux Yourself. And it's me and my best friend Holly, who they live in Oklahoma and I'm in New York. And we just watch the episodes and kind of give a queer feminine perspective on what we like to call the most toxic masculine of the Star Trek fandom.
you're not
So,
wrong. You're not wrong. I look forward to that. I love a good rewatch podcast. There is one I've been following, and I want to say I tried to say weekly, but they've been kind of intermittent. And when they do it, the Voycast,
okay.
I don't know if you've seen that. They're doing a rewatch of Voyager from a female perspective, and it's
Nice.
fascinating, really fascinating. Enterprise, you're right, masculine. I won't say who, but I have had a guest on this show that expressed to me that the one captain that they don't like the most is Archer. And it was funny because I said, "Wow, why? I don't understand." I said, because in my mind, I think, Scott Bakula is awesome. How could not? And he's like, "Watch it again and think about, the character. Think about the character. Don't see it as the man, see it as the character." And I was like, "Man, he's an asshole. I mean, like
Yeah,
Archer is just an asshole."
he
And it's
really
not
is.
it is, and it's not something that goes away. It's not like it was there in the beginning and he grew into being a good, wholesome dude. No, he's just a some bitch through the whole thing, and
Yeah.
it's. And I was like, I never saw it that way, but I get it now. I get it. So
I will
I'm.
say he's weird because something we talk about quite a bit is he has like this slight bit of character development in a lot of episodes. So like he'll start the episode off like hating Vulcans again or being xenophobic, and then he'll go through the episode and like learn a little bit of a lesson and like maybe learn to appreciate T'Pol. But the whole thing is so episodic that it's like the beginning of the next episode, he's right back to exactly where he was at the beginning of the prior. It's just like this cycle of he's always a fucking dick. Oh, I'm sorry if I'm not
No,
sure
it's
if I
fine.
can
Not
curse on here.
monetized. We're good.
Okay.
No, and no, you're absolutely right. And maybe on some level, maybe we'll find out one day that every episode of Enterprise wasn't a continuing journey. It was multiple universes, and it's just multiple archers, and they're all just different variations of a-hole. But
Hmm.
But yeah, and it's not a lack of love for Scott Bakula. Scott Bakula, as far as I know, has always been a beautiful human being, and I've never heard a bad thing about him as a man, but his character. And
His character
yeah,
sucks.
yeah. But that is what it is. And you mentioned previous guests that have been on here, Zyla and Matt and so on, and they're all wonderful individuals. I've enjoyed having them on here. I so far I haven't had a bad guest yet, so
That's
fingers
good.
crossed. Yeah. I've had a couple of times where I haven't felt good. So like I felt like they were bad conversations, and I go back and watch. I go, no, it was just me feeling verklempt or whatever at the
Aw,
time.
yeah.
But yeah, I was glad that you followed. I was glad you reached out, and I've enjoyed seeing like your performances and checking out your videos that you posted. I saw that you were at Trek Long Island this year, and
Yeah.
I know Joe Dove from the Captain's Quadrant was there, and he's pretty cool. And
We didn't get to meet in person, but we've been corresponding since. So the next convention that we're at, I'm still like the Star Trek world is so tiny, but it's so huge. And I love all the Trekkies that I've met throughout all of like I don't know, networking, I guess is what you could call it, but it's not really that. It's really just like creating new friendships in the fandom and like finding new people. Like I just ended up at an after party with Zyla Trex at the convention. And so my friends make fun of me because when I ran into her, I was like, "Oh my God, I don't want to freak you out, but I just think you're so great." And she was so, so sweet. And it was just like happenstance that we met, but like that's just kind of how it is in the Trek world. So I'm sure that I'll get to meet him very, very soon. And now that
yeah,
we know what each other look like in real person, it's like, okay, we'll find each other for sure.
yeah, he's a decent human being. As for Zyla, I understand completely. I like when I reached out to her to come on the podcast, I thought there's no way. Like I thought she's too good for that. She's too good for that. She's been on the Kelly Clarkson show. But yeah, but yeah, I was glad that she did, and it was good. I've seen your performances, your songs. Some of them are still stuck in my head.
I know
Um,
they're earworms. They totally are.
quite well done. How did that come about? What was the your inspiration for? Are you a performer by nature, or
Well,
did you work Star Trek in somehow?
I grew up doing theater like in high school, and I grew up in the church, which is actually something that we talk about on my podcast quite a bit because I'm no longer religious. I haven't been for almost 2 decades now, but I grew up in an a cappella church. So I grew up singing and hearing all the different parts without any instruments kind of interfering, I guess. So I was able to like I had a pretty strong ear for music. I played the violin when I was in middle school and a little bit in high school, and then just kind of didn't perform for a while, which is where I got obsessed with karaoke in the meantime. So it was kind of my outlet, especially in New York. You live in an apartment and it's not easy to just sing and do whatever you want and be loud all the time in your apartment. And I'm a big belter, so that's way too loud for an apartment. And so karaoke kind of became my outlet for a while. And back in 2022, three, I can't remember. I started working with a Star Trek drag show, and the DJ, I remember the very first day I met the DJ Cameron Cole, and I was like, "Hey, do you like karaoke? Do you want to go to karaoke with me?" And we went out after the very first show, and or my very first show, I guess. And he was like, "Wow, you can sing. Maybe you should, write something that you could sing in the drag show." And so I got with a couple friends and wrote Star Trek to Talk About, which was my first one, which Something to Talk About by Bonnie Raitt was has been one of my go-to karaoke songs for like 15 years. And so it just felt really natural to be able to do something that my voice was already used to. And then I can't remember who came up with it. It wasn't me. I can't claim this, but let's give them Star Trek to talk about. And I was just like, whoa, that's perfect. And I ran with it. And a couple people helped me write some of the lines, but most of it I feel like I wrote myself. And I performed it at one of the shows, and then it went over so well that I was like, well, maybe I could do this again. And they had an opening in a Christmas show, which is what I initially wrote Cisco Baby for, even though Cisco Baby is absolutely not a Christmas song at all. It is a not safe for work, not safe for children song about having a three-way with disco with Cisco and Dax. And that one was really fun. I wrote that one pretty much by myself, which that I love that one. I think it's my favorite. And that one has actually become kind of the new star of my uh, song repertoire, I guess, because I needed to put a character to it. I normally would just sing it at Christmas shows and wear like a cocktail dress, kind of cocktail lounge singer. And I did it for a cosplay cabaret. And I was like, I got to come up with a character for this. Who would be trying to convince Cisco to have a three-way? Like, who would be hitting on Cisco? And one of my friends was like, what about Kai Wynn? And I was like, what? Mind blown. Perfect character. It completely changes the context of the song and makes it so much dirtier and worse. And I love it so much. So I've kind of progressed from, I no longer am with that group. Most of the volunteers with that group have left since, but I now like perform at conventions, and I'm trying to get my own show started up, co-hosted by a couple of other friends, a drag king, a Tony Award-winning producer. We're just like shopping kind of a variety drag show around the city, trying to find a venue right now. So hopefully something comes of that soon.
Wait, yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say you have me. I'm a Cisco guy. I'm a Dax guy, but then I think about that when you were like, who would be the person? I'm just like, Kai Wen was never ever on my radar. Um, and then I just imagine her, going, my child, like the whole time. I just so many things are
Yeah.
wrong.
It's so
Um,
dirty. And I pull a cock ring out of my boot at the end. Like it's my favorite.
oh, poor Adami. Um,
And
that's great.
actually, I ended up choosing to be Vedic Win rather than Kai Win because
Oh.
the Vedics have better hats, and I really needed that Sydney Opera House hat. So
I have seen your cosplay of that, and I thought it was wonderful. I've seen you got to meet Nana Visitor. I think
I did.
that's wonderful. Out of all of the Star Trek celebrities you've met, who would be your favorite, or did you have a wish list?
Um, Not really a wish list. Actually, funny enough, I don't know how much video component you have, but behind me, my cat is sleeping, and his name is Beverly Crusher. And
Oh,
while I wasn't like super, oh, he heard me say his name. While I wasn't super obsessed with her as a character back when I first started watching, I ended up naming my cat after her, and it works and it's perfect. And so getting to meet her and like telling her and showing her a picture of my cat, it sounds really dumb and cheesy, but that was a really nice like celebrity moment. And I think Nana is really one of the ones that I wanted to meet the most. And we have a mutual friend in common. So that was cool to like meet her on a kind of slightly different level. And then also just her seeing me with the Vedic hat and the costume, like her face lit up. It was such a wonderful experience. It was so wild.
well, I have to ask since I have seen the costume, and I'm genuinely curious. 100% handmade? Or are we talking purchased? How did you come about it? It was well done.
So the hat was made by my friend Alex, who is also in this like kind of group chat from this other podcast. And there's just a lot of us that have been guests on it that we all just chat and talk about Star Trek or talk about whatever. And I just hit up the chat one day and was like, hey, does anybody want to make this hat for me? And Alex was like, okay, I will. She's an artist and does Star Trek tarot cards. And also, like, I don't think she does a lot of clothing and stuff. Deosil Designs, if you've heard of
I've
her.
I
on
believe I follow
Instagram.
her on Blue Sky, maybe.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Well,
Because
that's
as soon as you said the tarot card, I'm like, I know I've seen the work.
the tarot cards are so beautiful, but the
It is.
hat I think is just a priceless work of art. She made it all by hand. She made it all in about a week, and it looks like something you would buy professionally or like that could be like
Oh,
screen ready. It's so good. And then the sash on the front was made by my podcast co-host Holly. They like took a lot of iron working and glued super glued and all different kinds of things, but it looks really great. And they both ended up with the same fabric from the hat and the sash, even though they're both on different sides of the country. Holly's in Oklahoma and Alex
wow.
is in Michigan, and they've never met. and
Wow.
and then the rest of it is graduation gowns that I bought and just safety pinned together. It's very like the rest of it is kind of thrown together, and then the artistic stuff is the stuff that was done by my very, very talented friends. So,
And most people would say that's DIY. I would say that's BIY, Bajoran yourself, or um, but or however it is. But that's great. I never. That's amazing about the same material and everything, and the
yeah,
design, the material. It screams Bajoran. It
it
looks Bajoran. It's
does.
well done. I really like that. Do you have a favorite character that you have cosplayed as? I
Um,
mean,
no, honestly, that was my first like character cosplay. Normally, like I just have, I have a Discovery outfit and I have an Enterprise outfit, and I just kind of cosplay as like a general character in the shows or on the ships or whatever. But Vedic Win was my very first one. I'm missing a wig, and I have Beverly Crusher because I've been working. I have a co-writer, Maxwell Warp or Audrey Silverman in Daytime Life, but we've been working on a number to light my candle from Rent. That
hmm.
would be Beverly Crusher and the Candle Ghost. and as a duet. And so I have been piecing together a new Beverly Crusher cosplay. So then I'll have two like official characters of Beverly and of Vedic Win, but those are my only officials.
Now you've mentioned a few other podcasts that you listen to. Just out
Yeah.
of curiosity and your love of Beverly Crusher, as it were, or mentioning of Beverly Crusher, do you follow the Crusher combo?
I don't, but I have listened to what is it, the Gates, her actual podcast. She had
Right. Gates
Nana
investigates.
Visitor. Gates investigates or investigations or something
Yeah.
like that. But I've listened to like one episode or two episodes of that. I listened when she had on Kate Mulgrew, and I listened when she had Nana on. But for the most part, I really enjoy listening to like my friends' podcasts because other Trekkies, like people that are kind of within my orbit, because it's just really fun and kind of feels like sitting around with my friends and listening to them talk. So I'm
Yeah.
just recently starting to branch out. Like yours is a new one, although I still have kind of only listened to my friends so far.
That's
But
okay. That's okay.
yeah. I didn't listen to podcasts for a good like decade of my life, where I was just like, I will not listen to podcasts. I can't do it. I can't keep my concentration. I had some like trauma from working in comedy for a while that I was like, I just don't want to. And then really it was Star Trek podcasts that kind of turned that around for me. And now I'm doing my own. So
Well, there's a lot of really good ones out there. Crusher combo, like I said, it's Jessie, the woman that runs it. She is very much a Beverly Crusher fanatic, and she's good people if you ever check her out. But yeah, I love hearing about other podcasts. Your podcast itself, are you like recording and banking them up so you could do the
yeah.
release? Yeah, that's
We're
smart.
doing some pretty like intense editing because we record a little bit more like part of the podcast is my best friend Holly getting to meet all of my Trekkie friends up here in New York. For
Oh,
the first, sometimes for some of them for the first time, some of them for the first time, like not in a loud bar. And we get to kind of talk for 20, 30 minutes before we start recording or jump into tangents that it's like, maybe this won't go on air, but we'll just talk through it. And so we're banking up. We've got about 14 recorded right now for the first 14
wow.
episodes. And we are planning to release at the end of September and kind of do a bi-weekly situation for at least the first 6 months. So as we start to get new listeners, like people won't have such a huge back roll of weekly stuff to try and catch up on.
Yeah.
Um, and that's our plan. I mean, this is my first one. The second reason we're doing the podcast is because we both kind of hated Enterprise when we watched it the first time. And we were like, there's got to be something good here. Like it's part of the Trek universe. There's got to be some positive things. And so this is both of our first rewatches from the very first time that we ever saw it. And we're just going through, yes, we're hating on it quite a bit, but also like I'm finding quite a few things that it's like, oh, this is interesting. This is something that I hadn't considered about like before the Prime Directive was founded or what it would have been like being on the first spaceship to like actually leave, the Milky Way or whatever. So,
Yeah. It's funny. I had an interview a couple of days ago with an individual that the episode will air 1 week before yours,
hmm.
and he was on Enterprise, and um,
Oh.
and I told him, I said it was funny that it was nice to have someone on the show that wasn't going to tell me how much they hated Enterprise, and it was him. And I said, and I jokingly told him, I said, don't worry, it'll be back to normal next week. I had no idea. I had
That's so
no
funny.
it was just a joke, but yeah, it's funny. But he's a good guy. He's a good
Well,
guy.
whoever it is, I'm so sorry. But also, I am learning to appreciate your series quite a bit. And we hope to eventually have some of the actors on ours a little further down the road, maybe in the later seasons. But that would be a really nice get. So
Yeah, his name is Duncan. He was a background actor, 22 episodes throughout.
nice.
Yeah, so but he did get a name. He was Ensign Walsh in engineering. So
Cute.
yeah,
Okay.
but
I'm
yeah.
really only familiar with about the first half of season one, like very familiar the first half of season one, and then the rest of it, I have bits and pieces and fragments in my mind, but I'm trying to only watch as we're recording, so it's not too far ahead.
Now the fun thing about doing rewatches is sometimes you find things or notice things that you didn't see the first time.
Yeah.
And I just finished rewatching Enterprise about 2 months ago, and I guess technically I rewatched it. I skipped the last episode,
Oh,
but
wow. That
as far as
says a
I'm concerned, the
lot.
last episode doesn't count. That's Next Generation. And then, but yeah, I mean, a good rewatch. I'm doing a rewatch now of Picard, and I finished season 2 today. It's not as bad as I remember. There was one episode I could have done without, but it's not as bad as I remember. Three, I'm looking forward to rewatching season 3, but I gave it a good 6 years without watching season 1, so
I
sometimes
really
time.
enjoyed Picard. I liked that one a lot, actually. I just rewatched Picard about 2 or 3 months ago,
Hmm.
and I liked it more than I remembered liking it. So
Yeah, I didn't really have a problem with season 1. I definitely didn't have a problem with season 3. But
yeah,
two was hit or miss. But it wasn't bad. I mean, like I said,
yeah.
I just finished it. I really enjoyed it. I thought about going back and doing Discovery next, just because it's been a while, and I had shows like that I haven't watched twice. So
Yeah, because they're newer.
yeah, yeah.
I feel like I did a rewatch of Discovery as the last season came out. So
Mm.
I've only seen the last season once, but I think I've seen everything else twice. But it still does get kind of confusing there in the middle. And there's bits and pieces that I don't love of Discovery, but then there's also like characters that I think are some of the best characters, like Saru and Tilly. And
I
so
love
I
Tilly.
love them.
Hmm. Tilly and I'd have to say Paul Stamets are my favorite.
Oh, love Paul
I'm a Stamets
Stamets.
and a Will. I like Culber as well, but see, my thing of my okay, I like Culber because he's Wilson Cruz. He was in Rent. Okay, I like Paul Stamets because he's oh wow, blanked out. But the actor that plays
Anthony
him,
Rapp.
Anthony Rapp.
Anthony
Thank
Rapp.
you, Anthony Rapp. Well, also in Rent, but all but he's a Cubs fan. So, and I'm a Cubs fan. So,
That's funny. I didn't know that.
yeah, it was different times. Like I think Anthony Rapp was in the play. I don't know if he actually did the movie. I
Anthony
can't
Rapp
remember.
was in the movie.
Was he in the movie? Okay, and
Uh-huh.
so then
And he was
well,
in the original opening
oh,
cast on
okay.
Broadway.
Okay, I'm trying to remember which one it was, and I think they were both in the final performance because
Okay.
I have that DVD. Um, I'll have to go back and watch,
Oh,
but
that's fun. I want to see that.
it is out there. You can get the final performance of Rent on DVD.
Okay.
There's I noticed that you do a lot of Broadway shows. I was looking through that, and like there was one I really wish I would have been able to get to New York in the last 5 months. Dog Day Afternoon was on,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I really wanted to go. It just ended Sunday, um, but I know that they had cameras there. I'm hoping that there's going to be a release sometime for it
I
because I
have a
want to.
feeling they will. They also did that like I didn't end up seeing that one. I heard very mixed things. Some people loved it and some people hated it.
Really?
Um but I they did like some kind of crossover something or other on Hulu with the bear. And so
Mhm.
I'm wondering if that will lead into them promoting like a live version or something or a recording of it,
Yeah, we
maybe.
when without giving too much away, we found out that the bear was ending early, my wife and I, because
Mm-hmm.
of a conversation we were having with somebody that was on in the cast of Dog Day. We were
Oh,
chatting with them,
wow.
and we found out about the end of the bear 3 months before it was announced.
Oh,
And
wow.
I was like, oh, okay, and because they two of the people were leaving, they were going to go film something for it, and we're like, do we tell people? It's like, do we let our family know? It's like, but but yeah, I really wanted to go see that one. Unfortunately, we didn't get that one. But yeah, like I said, you've gone to some amazing plays from what I've seen, your playbills that you've shared online and so on and so
Yeah.
forth. Out of curiosity, have you got a favorite?
Yeah, I'm really obsessed with Lost Boys right
No?
now. Lost Boys the musical. We actually saw that as it was a matinee, and I haven't seen a big Broadway musical in years. I went to a lot this year. I have a friend who was able to like take me as a plus one. That was pretty much how I got to go to all of the plays, and we had pretty good seats for everything. But Lost Boys just it really blew me away. Like the music, obviously they're vampires and they're flying. The set itself is three levels, and then it also dips down a level below the stage. And so it was just it was pretty wild. It was spectacular. And I was actually really disappointed that they didn't win Best New Musical. It kind of felt like Lorne Michaels may or may not have bought that Tony for
Really?
Schmigadoon because I did hear some things about him giving money to other productions and to productions of people who would be on the voting committees, things like that that you hear in behind the scenes. But anyway,
That's
Lost
not cool.
Boys, Shoshana Bean, absolutely incredible. Ali, absolutely incredible. LJ, who plays the son, basically the lead role, he wasn't even nominated for anything. His voice is like an angel's voice to me. I loved it so much. And actually, in 10 days on the 24th, the cast recording is coming out, and I am so psyched for that to come out. I'm really
I might have to
excited.
scope that out. I love The Lost Boys, the movie. I never the play is not something that had been on my radar, but if it would
Yeah.
come out, yeah, I'd love to see it, and I would definitely love to hear it.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. I like that. When you talk about the three stages, I mean, it reminds me of Spider-Man. Like,
Well, I think that I heard a lot of people just talking about how this was Spider-Man Into the Dark done correctly.
okay,
They even did have a point, which kind of was weird because it was in the climax of one of the most climactic songs at the end of the first act, and they had to stop the performance because the main guy was about to fly, and I guess there must have been something wrong with like the cord. So the stage manager came over the speakers and was like, "We're gonna hold right here." And they stopped the music, they stopped singing, and everybody just stood still. And the lead guy, LJ, was just like, "It's gonna be so great, guys!" And the whole room went crazy. And then, like after about 4 or 5 minutes, the stage manager came back on and was like, "Okay, we're gonna pick it up from," and called the line. And then the music just started back up, and it went right back into it. And then he started flying, and it was like tears coming to my eyes. Like it was just so. It was adding to the climax a little bit because it was like we got to see kind of the inner workings of safety on Broadway, and like the inner workings of the stage manager and what they're doing. But then also you get sucked right back into the story the second that it goes back into the music. So
well,
it
that's
was it was
great.
pretty cool. Yeah.
I like that. I like that they had the attention and they took the time, and as you noticed, it was worth it. So that's
Yeah.
great. Speaking of favorites, when you were talking about the Star Trek series, do you have a favorite series that maybe a go-to or something
Oh
that you?
yeah. Oh yeah. Deep Space Nine. Hands down. All the way.
Same here,
Oh,
same
even
here.
Beverly behind me raising his
Yeah,
little paw. Me too. But Deep Space Nine, so I got into the Star Trek fandom actually a little bit late. It's only been about 10 years, I guess, or so that I've been a fan. I started dating a guy who was really into Star Trek, and after kind of avoiding it most of my life because I had a really religious uncle who was a huge Trekkie growing up, who kind of turned me off of it because it was like, oh, well, if he likes this, it must be awful. And like probably just like a bunch of bigots watch this, or I don't know. And so it took me a long, long time. And then we watched it together. And what drew me to it more so than any other sci-fi is the kind of utopia of it all. Like it's this dream of a better future rather than most sci-fi is dystopian, especially Star Wars, which is one of the other huge fandoms. Everything is so dystopian in Star Wars. I mean, literally, it's just like, do you guys not have a mop and a broom? Because why is everything so dirty in your world? But Deep Space Nine was kind of the opposite of that. It like flips it on its head and it's like, yeah, we're in this utopia, but it's kind of just a utopia for the humans. Like we still have to deal with all of these other like species and beings that maybe don't agree with us. And so like here's the dark side of it. And like here's a terrorist with a heart of gold. And like here's a captain who has all of these internal issues because his wife was essentially murdered by everyone's other favorite captain, while he was taken over by the Borg. So there's just all of this like drama and darkness behind it. And it's like, here's war. There's still war. We're not warring with each other on Earth, but we're having to go into war with other quadrants of the galaxy. And so that one just sucked me in pretty much right away. And it also had a lot of really strong female characters. Dax and Kira really just were amazing, although they don't pass the Bechtel test too well because most of their scenes together, they're just talking about boys that they're dating or that guy that you can see his brain through his skull or whatever. But
Captain Baudet.
Captain Baudet. But Cisco, in a rewatch, I was listening to Delta Flyers for a bit as they rewatched and going back and like actually looking at it 10 years later from when I first watched it. Cisco's a really feminist, like progressive captain and like stands up for the rights of women quite a bit, which is surprising to me. especially while I'm watching Enterprise. It just I keep thinking about, it's gonna get better. Not all the captains are gonna yell at T'Pol like Archer does, you know. Eventually they'll yell for different reasons because they actually fucked up.
No, no, not Archer. Yeah, I'm a Cisco guy. I agree 100% with DS9. It's not, even if I turned my camera, you wouldn't be able to see it right now. I have a Cisco section, but I have a whole bunch of books blocking it right now. Um,
Nice.
but but like I have, I mean, I could turn around. I've got Cisco here. I have, I love Cisco. I'm a Cisco
Yeah.
guy. One, 2 Christmases ago, my wife got me a really nice Cisco plate that she had found, and she knows she accepts it. Um, but yeah, and you're right. I mean, and I think like I've said, I know you're not a regular viewer, but I've said it many times on this podcast. Like he is the my I would say he's like the father figure that I could see. Like I admire, I look up to, and I've told people before if I could meet anybody from Star Trek, it would be Sirach, just so I could tell him I wished he was my brother. But
He's very nice. We actually drank peanut butter whiskey together at Star Trek to New Jersey last winter, I want to say. He was just out with a bottle of peanut butter whiskey and it was very crazy and fun.
makes me
But
wish I
he's
was
a
still
good
drinking.
guy. Yeah, right.
I now I do have an interesting question that I think I'm going to know the answer, but here lately I've been trying something new,
Okay.
asking everybody what their Star Trek hot take is, something that just bothers you about Star Trek, and I'm hoping that it's not Archer, but it might be. But I'm curious, what's your Star Trek hot take? Something maybe if you could get rid of it, you don't like it, whatever.
Um, Oh, this is hard. I actually was just on a podcast. Sorry, I'll just give the name of the one I've been talking about, Hailing Frequencies Open. And
Okay.
they did an episode called Don't Hate Me But. And we all had to bring our Star Trek hot takes and then we
Ooh.
talked through them and argued quite a bit. And I got pulled in about 20 minutes before the episode started recording. And so I had to come up with something on the fly. But I still kind of stick with it, even though it did make quite a few people upset. But I'm going to say it again.
Okay.
Even though I'm having a hard time with Enterprise and it is pretty like toxic masculinity and whatnot, I think that it is portraying women in a better light than the original series. And I think that it is a lot less broy than Kirk and even sometimes Spock, definitely McCoy, behave in the original series. So I do kind of like it slightly better in that sense. I know
Well,
there's a
but
lot
it
of
would.
die-hard original series fans out there, but
Well, no, no. I love the original series, but no, I don't see anything you're saying is wrong. I mean, I'll give you an example. I want to go on your answer. Archer and Trip, close friends, probably the best friends on there, but nowhere near being like what Spock and Kirk were portrayed as.
right.
So I get that, not as broy. I mean, and the women, of course, the best example is the fact in the original series, women could not be captain, because,
Yeah.
oh, we can't have a female captain. And I mean, T'Pol, T'Pol was a leader. She was good at being what she was. She just had somebody over here all the time yelling, and like you said,
Yeah.
and kudos to Jolene Blaylock on hiding emotion because, like,
Oh, that woman's face is incredible. Her facial acting is like her and Holly Hunter, I feel like just have the facial acting down to a T. Like if T'Pol raises an eyebrow, just the looks, she says so much without any words coming out of her mouth. It is wonderful. She's really, really great. Although I don't love that they have her in a cat suit because it's kind of like you got to put one woman in each series in a cat suit. That's one of the toxic things about Trek that I really dislike. So you've got T'Pol, you've got Major Kira, you've got Seven of
Seven.
Nine, you've got Deanna Troy. Like you can't have a series without a woman in a cat suit. But
I think oh, I mean I would easily I'd go with Brandon Braga being the main problem with that, or at least with
yeah,
Seven and DePaul and so on and so forth. But I know it's for all we know, and I don't know, I can't say, but maybe it was a mandate from the network. Sex sells. We got to have something that we can put on magazine covers or something like that. I don't know, but you're
that's
right.
true.
Even when T'Pol joined, like left the Vulcan ministry and decides that she's going to be part of the crew, she still didn't wear a uniform. The only time you
Yeah.
saw her in the uniform was alternate realities,
Hmm.
the future when Archer had the brain issue. Twilight was the name of that episode.
I haven't gotten
And
there yet.
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was a
No, it's
rewatch.
okay. It's okay. No, I've seen it once before.
Okay, okay. I don't know what happened to I don't know what happened to Archer. His brain's okay. But anyways, but yeah, you're right. I mean, so yeah, 100%. I agree with you. I agree with
But
you.
I will say, like, a cat suit is better than all the women having to be scantily clad and or painted a different color and mostly naked,
Yeah,
which is all the women in the original series, with the exception of Uhura, who you never see outside of like a real skinny short skirt
yeah.
scant. So,
And not for nothing, but as a male, I know T'Pol was supposed to be the sex symbol. I had a thing for Linda Park, so
oh yeah, Hoshi's so hot.
yeah. It's like I'm
Honestly, both
sorry.
of those women are really hot.
Yeah, Hoshi was more of my. I was watching for Hoshi. So,
What's
but yeah,
funny though about Enterprise is that while they never really get the recognition, most of the issues are solved by one of the two women, and they they come up with the idea or the actual solution, or they are the ones that save the day like a good 30-40% of the time so
good
far.
way. I
Yeah.
get what you're saying. And then the captain's all like, I had this idea, you know.
Yeah. He's like, oh, well, I was just going to go in guns a blazing because that's what you do in the Wild West. And that's what we're pretending this is, right? Like, yeah. Oh, Archer.
Yeah, it makes me want to go back and rewatch it again. Oh, you know what I might do, and it's Star Trek, so I can always watch again. Your podcast comes out, I might go back and do it. I do the same thing.
Yeah.
I see. I like outside of Star Trek, I like other shows and like Smallville. So
Yeah.
like
I used to watch that.
yeah, so I watched the Talkville is the official rewatch for Smallville. I'm rewatching week to week. Like I'll watch the episode sometimes after that I've watched their discussion. I can do the same thing for Enterprise. So
Yeah. And we give
yeah,
like little scene descriptions and whatnot. We're still working out the formatting, but yeah. So you can still
formatting
follow
is
along.
pain in the ass. I don't know how much you see, but I started a rewatch podcast this well today as you and I are talking. Today was the first episode, and we're still working out the premise. It's for another science fiction show called The Invisible Man,
Okay.
and I don't know if you ever saw that one. It was on Sci-Fi Channel in 2000. But
Okay.
me and three of the actors from the show, we got together and we decided we're going to do a rewatch. So figuring out the format's not easy. I get you on that, and like even like the second episode is nothing like the first episode. It's like you're kind of trying to find your footing.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I look forward to it. I'm really and I appreciate the fact you have 14 episodes already in the can. That's great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're not edited yet. They're just recorded, but at least that's like one step. And that's the
Yeah, yeah.
hardest step is scheduling the people and getting everybody together at the right time, you know.
You're preaching
So,
to the choir there. I was gonna say
right.
getting guests is not easy, and that's like for talking Star Trek, it's like I put it out there. It's like, do you want to talk Star Trek? You know, and then it's not always you have to promote something, but you can just let's come on, let's chat it up. And I have had a couple people say, "Well, I'll come back on." Well, that's great, but I'm trying to keep it new at least for the first year.
Yeah, for
Maybe,
sure.
and it's not that I don't appreciate them. I truly do. But not everybody wants to talk. And
Yeah.
it's I and like because your episode is recorded a few weeks early, I like to have some done in the can ahead of time. I'm not 14 episodes, but that's amazing.
Yeah.
Um, and I get editing. It takes a while. Um, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
You'll, I'll make sure you post about it so when it gets closer, so and stuff. And
I definitely will be.
one of the big takeaways from being on this show is, and you'll notice from now on you're going to get your signal boosted. So like I'm gonna promote. It's not always about me. Like I want people to watch stuff. I want people to like my stuff. But like you were talking about hailing frequencies open. I don't know if you were hesitant to mention them. I'm all about mentioning them. I want people to go watch their stuff.
Yeah,
It's like Transporter Room, wonderful show. They got great guests. I want people to watch them. So it's all about boosting everybody's signal. It's not about me. It's about everybody.
that's
And
true.
and I figure
I
that's
guess
what
I was
start.
just like, I don't know if I should be saying other podcast names on here,
Oh
but
no
you're
no
totally right.
it's perfect. It's wonderful. Thank you. Water.
Gotta hydrate.
Well, she knows me, and she knew I'd be thirsty. But yeah, I love just getting the word out about everything else. And now, as for you, the podcast is coming up, but do you have anything else that's coming up?
Um, Not on the books. I'm gonna be attending the Star Trek to Philadelphia convention. So I'll be there. I'll probably be in my Vedic Win costume for the costume contest day. And then I'm also going to be attending the Star Trek cruise
Oh,
in
wow.
February, which I'm not going to be performing really on either of those, although I may or may not have gotten one or two of the female celebrities to agree to doing karaoke duets with me on the cruise. So we'll see if there's
Interesting.
some videos of that. But I am working on not Star Trek really, but I slightly mentioned it before, but a like a drag variety show called Genre Fluid, and that one's more of a fandom focused show, and it's going to be hosted by my co-producer Jackson Juniper, a drag king, and then we have two other kind of silent producers that are working with us, and we're shopping that around to a couple different places. But essentially, it'll be a monthly show where each month is a different theme that kind of goes along with some sort of fandom that has something going on. So, like, if we were to start right now, it would probably be like fantasy or Dungeons and Dragons or House of the Dragon, like that kind of stuff, because that's what's on right now. Maybe next month would be something like with Comic-Con or things like that. So, um, we don't have a home yet, but we're hoping to find a home very, very soon. And once that happens, I will be blasting that all over my social media and then also sharing all of the social information for that show as well.
Well, that's awesome. I look forward to that. And like I said, your signal shall be boosted. So,
Yes. Thank
I,
you.
yeah, the more people that know, you look at Star Trek is based upon, a better tomorrow. If we can all work together and help each other, then we can get there. I do want to come back to something, and you were absolutely correct about Deep Space Nine being different and, the opposite of the utopia. Cisco said in one episode, Earth is the problem. Very famously, Earth is the problem because on Earth, there is no war, there is no homelessness, there is no famine, and we've grown complacent. And this was, of course, early DS9 before, Picard made things worse. But I get that, and it showed a real difference then. And I love your explanation of Jennifer Sisko dying and it being the, killed by everybody else's favorite captain. I never thought of it that way. That's a hell of a good way to look at it.
Yeah. It
But
was a really dark way to start off the series.
yeah, it really was. I had no idea how great that. Like I remember when it came out, and I remember '93 thinking, "Well, this isn't Star Trek. This is and I was always a Next Generation guy, and but I would watch DS9, but I always thought of it as like the dark Star Trek, and everything was dark. And now if you told me like pick a Star Trek, I'm gonna go DS9. It grew to
Yeah.
be my favorite. It's I tell people all the time you could probably skip a few episodes in season 1 and 2, but
Yeah.
but for the most part, 3 on, don't miss them.
Well, I think that was also one of the draws to it is because it's not episodic. It actually has a storyline that carries through, and you don't, with the exception of unfortunately O'Brien, you don't really jump into the next episode as though nothing happened the prior episode. Um, Poor O'Brien, he just gets screwed in every universe. But
O'Brien must
there
suffer.
O'Brien must suffer. But with the exception of him, I feel like all the character development, I mean, even his own character development on in the longer scheme carries through and being able to like grow and get to know these characters in a different way than just like here's a problem. Oh, yay, we fixed it. Okay, here's another problem. Okay, we fixed that one too. Like having to watch them suffer through multiple episodes and suffering in ways that you've suffered before
Yeah.
as a person. It just makes it a lot more, I don't know, real, I guess. Makes it hit
Relatable.
home. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, you're absolutely correct. I don't know where to go after that. But no, I really enjoyed this. I'm glad that you came on and we had this conversation. And I'm looking forward to everything else that's coming in the future,
Yeah.
specifically with the podcast and so on and so forth, and the cruise. I can't wait to see stuff from the cruise.
Oh, that's gonna be the best week of my life, I'm sure.
Well, I can imagine. I saw that. I remember Alexander Siddig is going to be on there. I saw him
I
announced
just
today.
saw that announcement today. I was texting with my friends that I'm going with. I was like, "Oh my God." I'm super excited. I really want to meet him. And my friend does cosplay of him. So I'm like, I'm commanding you to wear your cosplay and we're gonna meet him. And that's gonna happen.
The question is, which Julian is it? Are we talking like teal top or gray top?
Gray top.
Okay. So
Yeah.
after we all found out that he was a walking computer.
Yeah, but he's worn this in drag numbers
Oh, sweet.
where Jackson has been drag Garrick and drag Bashir are very gay together.
Well,
So, of
that's
course.
okay. Well, I mean, it's canon now. I mean, look at Lower
It
Decks.
is. It
They are
is.
married. So,
I
um,
love that, by the way. I love
yeah.
it
Oh, yeah.
so much.
Well, the one thing that's missing from my collection is Stitch in Time. Andrew Robinson's. Now, I do have the CD, the book on CD. My wife got that for me a couple Christmas, no, birthday, two birthdays ago. She was able to get that for me, but I want to get the actual book. I've never been able to find it, and people want so much money for it, and so that's one that I need to get in the collection. I'm an Andrew Robinson fan. I just opened up Garrick the other day.
Oh, yes.
So nobody's seen it yet. I haven't posted that. So, but
Ooh,
yeah, I
exclusive.
spoilers. But yeah, but no, I've had a great conversation. Thank you so much for coming on here today.
Thank you.
And I wish you nothing but success in your podcast. I will be listening. I will subscribe. And I ask everybody to do the same thing for here. If you're enjoying this conversation, please like, subscribe, share, Go over to your grandparents' house, log on to their YouTube account, subscribe as them, and then make sure they get all the episodes. They won't know what's going on. Don't tell them. Just do it. It's okay.
It's
So,
okay. They'll
yeah.
love it.
Yeah. In
Yeah.
fact, we love your grandparents. So, all right. Well, thank you. And we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.